Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm super excited to be with you this morning to share with you two main resources that I really want you to have. I think that they're very timely as it relates to what it is we need to do in the coming months to become not just maintain our success, but grow it. We've been doing very well in every sense of the word, with one exception that there's room for improvement that we're going to talk about here today. And so without any further ado, I want to go ahead and get started because, again, I do have a lot of information to pass on to you, and I want to make sure I don't run out of time. I'm going to fly through it because I'm going to facilitate it. I'm not going to necessarily train on it, if you would, and that's going to kind of be your job as well. The first question is always what I'm going to keep asking you, and that is, what did you learn this past week? What skill did you pick up or refine to help you grow your business? Especially if you are not where you want to be income-wise or the size of your team-wise or whatever the case might be. That's a very important question that, again, you should start every Sunday knowing that you're going to be asked this the following Saturday. And so that way you have a good answer that doesn't impress me. It's not about me, of course. It's 100% about you. What did you learn this past week? Anybody want to unmute themselves so we can kind of move through this real quick? Cool. Got it. Teresa, I got your message. Thank you very much. Yes, Teresa's at a graduation, and we are in that part of the year where there's graduations just about every day of the week. So thank you so much for even plugging in. I appreciate that. Anybody, what did you do? What did you learn? I mean, like actually learn. I'm saying from just an experience, but did you pick up a book, buy a course? Did you do anything at all to make sure that you're better positioned as we go into June, basically, than you were just last week? Anybody? Any skill? Any book? Any course?
Javier, I learned one thing on a baby policy. I was doing my first one, and I thought that the owner could sign all the documentation. However, I found out that the parents need to sign, or one of the parents at least needs to sign. And then one of the other things is I was unclear on the baby policy. If the owner has the insurance, does the parents need? And I called National Life and had a discussion, and they don't have to, but it looks better. But you definitely have to fill out the part and explain why and stuff. So that's the tip that I learned.
Perfect. And that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to learn, especially like when you talk to National Life Group. That is gospel, basically. It's coming directly from them. Thank you very much, Keith. I really appreciate that, and congratulations on that policy. Anybody else, please? We can't be the same old version of ourselves from last week. Somebody had to learn, pick up a book, anything whatsoever, anything at all. If not, you should definitely consider your routines, if you would. Give yourself an hour a week, after a bit, 30 minutes a day to pick up a new skill. And the reason that I'm so big on picking up skills is because the old us got us this far. If the old you did not get you the type of production you were looking for, if the old version of yourself from last week did not get you the number of recruits you wanted and so on, what on earth makes you think that you're going to do it again this week? So we have to pick up a new skill, refine an existing skill, because that will give us the self-confidence. For most people, the biggest thing that they lack is not knowledge, not a license, not getting appointed, not a carrier, not a bigger contract, nothing. It's lack of confidence, and confidence comes from within. That's why it's called self-confidence, and that's the one thing you should really focus on. And when you pick up new skills, you'll become more confident, more likely to do the things that need to be done. Just want to remind everybody that we are going to go ahead and hold our Kaizens Workshop on June 3rd and June the 4th, and that's by invitation only. And we do have, as you know, a guest speaker coming, which is Victoria Lee. And the reason we're bringing her here versus seeing her at the convention, she has a private event. The chances of you getting a chance to ask her any questions are pretty hard because so many people are going to be there. This is going to be a very intimate event, probably 20 people in the room, and that's it. And so if you do have a question or anything you want to ask her, this is going to be a very rare opportunity for you to do so. And I'm not saying that Kaizen is the end all, no, but it definitely is something that when you add that to your core portfolio of solutions to bring to the table, even if you do one every 6 months or once a month, it doesn't matter. It's going to help you. And most importantly, it's going to be helping your clients as well. And so again, any question? Oh, if you are interested in this event and you're producing, if you're not producing, go back to step one, read more books, get your level of self-confidence up so you can actually go out there and take the actions that you need. Don't take the easy stuff like the courses and the classes and the workshops. get something that will get you to motivate yourself enough to take the action. But if you are producing and you're interested in attending this workshop, we have the room for it. We are going to be holding it in a formal training school or center. And so we have a lot of room there. This is the flow code right here that you could just scan with your phone. Here's another skill you can pick up, how to work a flow code. Just break out your phone, open up your camera, and just simply go ahead and scan that right there. If you're watching the recording of this, just break out your phone, scan it. If you're on in your car and you're on your phone and you can't scan it because you're on the phone, take a screenshot of the flow code. On most phones, you can open up a photo, tap on a QR code, flow code, and then it'll ask you if you want to open it up as well. It's pretty cool. Do that. Last week, I had a bunch of people hit me up saying, hey, I was driving. Can you send me the link? And the answer is no. I'm not going to send you the link. Go back to the YouTube, go back to our channel and find it and scan it. Or, like I said, pick up a skill this week, buddy. Take a screenshot, tap on it, and do it yourself. But no, I don't simply do that. Teresa picked up a book, Panic Button Productivity. Sounds really good. I like a lot of books just by the title, and that one sounds like one I would definitely like to read. So thank you, Teresa. And again, guys, you got to do this. So if you're part of my team, and that's zero exceptions for that, if you're part of my team, you're a producing agent, scan this flow code, and that's going to request to basically a ticket. And if you meet the criteria, then we'll go ahead and register you, and you're good to go. I had a few people ask me this past week, how much is the workshop? And the workshop is free. There's no cost to you whatsoever. We're going to serve lunch. We've got 2 trainers coming out from Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, do you have any clue how much money we're saving just by not having to fly to Atlanta like we originally were going to do? And so, again, shame on you if you missed this opportunity and you qualify to attend as well. So anyways, enough of that. The convention, we picked up one new person that registered for it. This is the QR or the flow code, the QR code for the convention registration. Please hurry up and do so. The cost of the door is going to be going up tremendously. So why pay more when you don't absolutely have to? And this is where we were the week before. This is where we are as of last night. We picked up one person. So I'm telling you, there's got to be more people out there that are serious about success, that are not just talk, but are willing to do what success demands. And when somebody doesn't register for a convention, there are some very legitimate reasons, but there's also a lot of excuses involved. The excuses that I used to give myself when I never went to these damn things back in the day. And I will tell you, it just shows a lack of belief. And we really don't believe we're going to benefit from it. We're going to make more money. We're going to be more successful. And then that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Without even going there, you're still stuck in the same place. So you want to make sure you go ahead and you do that. The 2 things that I wanted to talk to you about here today, one of them was this, magnetic sponsoring, which revolves around recruiting. And one of the things that you have to understand that you will always need to do is recruit. Now, there are 2 types of people we recruit, basically. Who can tell me, what are we looking for recruits-wise? Anyone?
Well, they need to be coachable.
Well, but what we're looking for, we're recruiting clients, right? That's one of the things we're recruiting. I mean, people don't think of it that way, but you have to understand that we are, and I'll cover that. What is the second thing we're recruiting for?
Recruiting for sales.
Okay, clients, sales, that's one of them. And somebody else, Teresa just said, for partners, for teammates. So the question that I have, which we'll cover both, why recruit teammates? Why recruit partners? Why recruit associates? Why recruit life agents? Anybody? Why?
So you can duplicate yourself.
Duplicate yourself. No, that's really, really good. Number 1, so you can duplicate yourself. What else?
Build a business.
Okay, there's more people here. Come on, what else? And this goes back to our mindset. We gotta have this mindset as to why. And again, if you don't want to recruit anybody, bless your heart, but at least produce is what I'm saying. Because of the simple fact that if you're not producing and you're not recruiting, your chances for success, for income, all the reasons that we join are really, really, really bad. And so therefore, what I'm saying now, ironically, Bob was right that we want to duplicate ourselves, but in some cases, we recruit so we don't duplicate ourselves. If you look at yourself and say, look, in the last year, I've had 0 recruits and I've had 1 sale, well, maybe you don't want to duplicate that. There are people out there looking for an opportunity to make their dreams come true, blah, 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 all this other good stuff, that they come on board and they do a hell of a lot more than we ever did. but at least they're on your team. And that's a good thing. And so you have to kind of work on your mindset as to why, because if you don't develop compelling reasons to recruit, you're never going to recruit. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're generating the income you are looking for. Right now, there's a lot, and I do mean a lot. That's what I do for a living. I keep my finger on the pulse of the world, of the industry, of business. And right now, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit when it comes to real estate and mortgage professionals. That industry is shrinking, as it is probably 90% of the business in those two fields is done by 10% of the people. That means that the other 90% are just trying to get there type of thing. Well, if they haven't gotten there yet, they're not going to get there anytime soon, because as rates continue to rise, they are just simply dying off like you would not believe. I worked with a bank that had something like 32 underwriters, and they just let go of most of them. They're down to, I believe, 8 or 6. Unbelievable what's going to happen, especially as we continue to get closer to the end of the year and all this other good stuff. So those are people that want something. They already understand the whole commission structure. They already understand the hustle. They understand a lot. They're just looking for something that can help them make it happen. And that's who I'm going after right now, because it's a very well organized group where you can buy a list. Last time, a lot of you were joining me in buying a list of 1.2 million real estate agents that I can line up by city, by zip code, by state, and just shoot them an email. Say, hey, have you given thought to this? And then send them a link. And then it's a numbers game. It's a very, very big numbers game. But the good news, the very good news, is that for most people, what else you got going on? You can literally set it for the thing, your computer, you program it to send out emails on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, and you're at work or you're doing something else. And all you get are emails from people saying, I'm interested, or they register for your event, or whatever the case might be. So that's why we want to make sure you understand why you want to go ahead and recruit. Now, if you already have recruits, meaning you already have teammates, well, then guess what? Not all of them are going to stay. That's just the way life works. That's just the way in this entire world works. And some come, some go. That's just the way it is. Everybody has a revolving door in their business. And I don't care what kind of business, whether you're a police department, the military, whether you're First Financial Security, or whether you're a real estate broker with a bunch of agents, everybody has a revolving door in the front. Some come and some go. That's just the way life works. And so you always want to replenish your team if that's what you have. But me personally, I will tell you that the number one reason I build a team is because I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket, all my hopes or dreams on one person, because I'm telling you, it's amazing how what makes people do great things is also the part that makes us do dumb things at the same time. And they bump their head, and before you know it, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there. Don't let the door hit you in the butt. I mean, if that's really what you want to do, I've never stopped anybody, but they got to have a few more that I can work with and work through them. And then, of course, bring in new people as well. So you want to do that. But most importantly, when people think recruiting, they're thinking about just sponsoring, which is what this book talks about, how to recruit people onto your team. But the other element that I've learned to do is to work with people and recruit the actual clients. When I give a presentation in front of teachers, police officers, nurses, doctors, whatever, I'm recruiting them. I'm in the process of recruiting them because I know ultimately they're going to say yes or no to me. And that's what we want to make sure we do. And so one of the things you'll see here, I'm not going to get too much into it. Like I said, I'm not going to facilitate it because I gave it to you all last week, but I do want to emphasize some of the things that you have to understand. That if you're going to be a producer, especially one of the things that you look at, let's just pick on somebody right now. I believe, and the reason I'm not picking somebody on the team, I don't want to, leave somebody else out from the team. We got a ton of people on our team that fit the bill, but I'm going to choose somebody outside the team on purpose. Let's just say a Victoria Lee. One of the things that I learned a long time ago is that leadership begets leadership, success begets success, recruits beget recruits, production begets production. Once you get yourself going, and that's where 90% of your fuel, your energy needs to go. Get yourself going in whatever you want to do. You want to be a producer? Get yourself producing consistently in the beginning, stumble through it. But there will come a point where it becomes easier and easier because now it's not just you pushing forward, it's you plus clients, plus recruits, plus everybody else pushing forward, and the job becomes a lot easier. And so understanding the source of personal attraction is key because either A, you're the type of person that attracts people, or you can be the type of person that does the opposite, repels people. And there are people that do that. Some attract, some repel. And the beauty about this is that you can be one and switch to the other at any given time. You make up your mind that you want to do that as well. And so that's why it's so important for you to understand the power of attraction, personal attraction. Now, I'll give you an example. Again, I'm just picking somebody outside the team because I don't want to pick somebody within the team and then somebody else says, why didn't you pick me and whatever. We've got a bunch of people that fit the bill, but I'll pick one person and I'm going to pick on, let's just say her, Victoria Lee. Now, why is it that so many people today want to give her the business? Why do people seek her out? What is it about Victoria, do you think, that people, like I said, at the convention, they're going to have a conversation with Victoria. It's called the night before the kickoff of the convention. Why do people show up? Why are people attracted to her? Anybody? Anybody? Come on, guys, please.
Because she's successful.
Okay, successful. What else?
In my conversations with her, I just think that she's just got a big personality. She is still humble. She's just magnetic. I mean, you're just drawn to her.
Okay, and okay, thank you. And the reason I'm asking these things is because all those things that you guys said, especially Bob, especially you, Kathy, the reality of it is that these are things that she has developed, especially since being here at FFS as it relates to the financial industry. Some of us, I should say, on this call have been in this industry longer than her, but she was very calculated. And I don't mean that in a cold way. I mean in a very good way. Like all of you should be calculated about everything about you precedes you. And so that's like somebody saying, Teresa, a track record. That's good. But the reality of it is, I remember when she joined FFS, she was brand new, no experience in the life insurance industry. She was selling commercials for a TV network and all this other stuff. But what I'm saying is that she projects that image of who people want to go ahead and be guided by her. Now, I remember when she came on board, the biggest question everybody had was, yeah, but can she duplicate that? Because it was just her and her personal production only, but she doesn't have a team yet. Will she be able to? And lo and behold, she built a team of a bunch of people that do what she does, which is pretty cool. And that's what propelled her to well over $1 million a year and so on. And so what I'm getting at is you can take anybody that you admire or anybody that you know that you would entrust with your finances and ask yourself, what is it about her? I've never seen her walking around in sweats and flip-flops, to be honest with you. So she takes care of her image, if you would, all the time. I mean, she just does that all the time. She's also very calculated, like I told you, in regards to not just waiting for people to come to her. They do come to her, but she runs ads. She runs TV ads. She runs print ads. She has her YouTube channel. Her and her team do nothing but videos on YouTube all the time. So what I'm getting at is that it seems like they're just coming to her, and they are. But at the end of the day, unbeknownst to them, it's her working them. And that's really good because, again, she's very sincere. And you're right. She's very humble. She's going to come to our event. I called her up and Corey's like, you know what, bro, we'll be there. We'll back you. We'll help you. They're not going to get anything out of it. They're just there to help the cause, if you would. And that's pretty cool, I think, in regards to what it is that we all need to understand when it comes to recruiting. So again, this is the flow code. If you're interested, you're part of my team and you want to come to the event on whatever the hell it is in June, go ahead and submit your request right there. And so once again, when you keep these things in mind, it starts and then ends with you. Understand this. Now, these are just the chapter pages in case you haven't seen it. And I'm sure every single one of you read it this past week because I gave you a copy for free. Part of the reason that I don't do anything for free anymore, or I just still do a lot, but the good stuff, the reason I don't do it for free, everybody takes it for granted. The world is full of people with good intentions. And unfortunately, intentions aren't worth a damn thing if we don't implement them. And so that's why I don't do that. But anyways, going back to this, this is chapter 2. Your business has nothing to do with your company. And it's amazing how many people talk, and the first thing out of their mouth is how great their company is or their carrier is or what have you, when in reality, that's just not the way it is. Because if you make it about the company, stand by. And so that's what you have to understand, that it doesn't matter. Just here are a few things that don't matter. My product is cheaper. My product has a fire OAC value. My product has every vitamin and mineral. We're selling that. My product is a patent. My product is better than yours. My product was used by the ancient pygmies on the boat. I mean, who cares? Nobody gives a crap. Even if you tell me I work with the same company that Victoria. Okay, if you go down that route, you better be careful because I will tell you, well, guess what? You're still not Victoria. I mean, you see what I'm getting at. You got to be very careful. You have to craft, you have to design your brand, who you are, because when you understand the power of that, you will go from being, and the one thing that I learned from this book, I think about it, it's right there, back in 2007. The one thing I walked away from it is how to go from being a hunter to the hunted, from you asking, begging people to come listen to your opportunity presentation or your product presentation or whatever, to all of a sudden, people are looking for you by name. And every single one of you, whether you've sold a lot of stuff in the past or maybe you're still trying to figure it out, all of you can go from being a hunter to the hunted if you just implement those very simple principles that I'm sharing with you here today. And I'm going to give you a little bonus here at the end that does that. And so understand that you have to know how it works. This gentleman made a fortune in the world of vitamins, and vitamins are part of the businesses that I sometimes make fun of, not being a bully or mean. I'm just simply, because I always tell people, look, listen, we're not talking about us where we're out there selling some lotion, potion, or juice, but there's people making millions selling juice and selling lotions and potions and vitamins. And I mean, unbelievable. There's a company that I'm not going to name. They're out there selling literally, they sell toothpaste that's infused with coffee, and they sell it for $35. They just went up to $38 a tube of toothpaste. Now, how are they making millions upon millions with toothpaste? Anybody know how? The answer is, go ahead.
The network. It's the network that they built.
But even then, but what about the network? And the answer is, they're not selling toothpaste, they're selling a dream. That's what they're doing. And it just so happens that the dream leads through the road that goes by a $38 damn toothpaste. And you're right, it's the network of what, but what I'm saying is, if 1,000 people show up to your front door and says, hey, I got you this toothpaste for $38 a tube that's probably going to last you 2 weeks. Can you set up for auto ship so you can make sure you never run out and we'll ship you one every week? For most people, like, no. But when you understand what stands behind it, it takes on a different meaning as well. And so that's why I'm saying that if you didn't read this book, I'm asking you to please do yourself a favor. And I say for you to do yourself a favor because I know you can only last, especially if you're not hitting, you can be making money, but not making your dreams a reality. So to me, money has a lot to do with a lot, but there's also more to it. And I'll talk to you about that in just 1 second. And so I'm asking you that if you're not making the income you want to make, you're not producing what you want to produce, at least consider what this book will teach you. And you'll very quickly see how sometimes you fit the bill of what they talk about as the ideal person to recruit. But then you'll also say, damn, I'm the opposite. And guess what? You can just flip it around just like that if it means enough to you. I'm going to give it to you guys again one last time. And just like last week, please don't be the 2-3 people that call me every single weekend. I was driving. I was here. I was there. I don't care. I don't have the time to do this. I said it a million times, and I'm not trying to say arrogant. I just don't have that time. What if 5 people? What if 10 people call? I don't like to do things for people that they can or should be doing for themselves. Take a screenshot of it. Go and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Scan it there. Why are you trying to make your life easier by making mine harder? I don't understand that part. I just don't get it. Is it that difficult to just go to YouTube and scan it from there? Yeah, but that takes 3 more steps and they just text you. I get it, but then I got to do those 3 steps. Go back to Dropbox, look for the file, copy the link, and then get it to you. And then you never even open the damn thing. So if it really means that much to you, scan this flow code here, right here in front of you, and download it. And it's very easy to do. I do want to continue the emphasis on recruiting because, like I said, people come, people go. That's just how life works. That's just how business works. But right now, we have certain forces that are coming together that make the next probably 8 to 12 months a gold mine for us. Who can look out into the, and I'm just talking about the U.S. I'm not talking about the damn world. I don't care about the world. In the U.S., why do you think it's going to be such a good time to recruit? Anybody? Give me just one reason. Don't give me a bunch, just one. And we're going to ask different people. Please don't be that person that just sits here like a fly on the wall. Just wait for the recording after it posts, then you can watch it and nobody's going to call on you or pick on you or whatever. One reason to recruit. Anyway.
Well, I think people are looking for opportunities, like you mentioned about, the real estate side, drying up. So I think,
Okay, so let's just leave it for you. Thank you, Kathy. That's probably number one for me, to be honest with you. The fact that with real estate, you have to understand that real estate is being impacted by one thing, and that is the financing element, which is the mortgage world. And just remember one thing, the number one industry that dictates in which direction the economy at the US level, at the national level goes, is real estate, number one. And so therefore, financing, which is the mortgage side, it's the tail that wags the real estate dog. Does that make sense? And if it's wagging the real estate dog, you're right. I'm not talking about realtors. They're screwed. 90%. I would say that I bought a list recently of realtors just for my personal record. You know why? Because next year we'll have about 20% less people on that list because they quit. They surrender their license. The only hope that we have for them, if they have a 2-year license, it hasn't expired yet. But eventually, most let it go. NMLS license, the same thing. A lot of people, this week alone, we have 5-6 people surrender their mortgage licenses already. And we haven't even gotten started. So you're right. The real estate one is going to impact the appraisers and the inspectors and the underwriters. We just let go. Like I said, the banks just let go of a bunch of underwriters. Bam, just like that. The moment the writing's on the wall, they're fired. And so there are a lot of people from that segment. But what else, as you read the tea leaves, and I hope you do this every once in a while, read the tea leaves of what's going on in this country, because we're recruiting from the masses of the people of the US. So she's right, real estate. What else do you see out there that makes you say, might be a good time? Like,
what is that thing that the great, like, people are quitting in mass from their regular jobs? What is it called?
The resignation. Yes. I mean, and we have, just so you know, we have a ton of unhappy people in this place. And I'm talking about in the US, just so you know. So for me to go to somebody, a teacher, a police officer, a realtor, to anybody, and talk to them about an opportunity to make their goals and dreams a reality, it's a very high chance. Hell, they're quitting just to collect unemployment. Imagine if they were quit to do something. Now, I personally don't like it. Now, this is just me. I don't like it when people quit what they're doing to do what we do here, because I think the ultimate success story, and I mean ultimate success story for the FFS type of business, is how we can change your life without having to quit what you currently do. You will pick up 90% more people with something like that, where you can go ahead and so if I'm talking to real estate agents, I'll play stupid, I'll play along, and I'm saying, hey, Kathy, as you know, the real estate industry is, shifting a little bit, but in case you're looking to supplement your income as a real estate professional, considering becoming a life insurance agent with our firm. We're currently expanding and looking for people just like you. And all I'm asking you to do is to take a look at a 6-minute video to see if it intrigues you, and you can still keep doing real estate. Now, if Kathy is all there, she's going to be like, what are you talking about? That damn thing's falling apart. I'm looking to pay my mortgage, my cars, but I'll play along. And so what I'm saying is that I love it when people stay, because if they do stay, they're a teacher, a police officer, a firefighter, they don't mess with their market. The biggest success stories we have are people that simply come on board, and as they do whatever the hell they do, they supplement that income. People are quitting because they're needing another $600-700 a month. And if we can provide them with $1,500 to $2,000 part-time, or as I like to call it, spare time, then you're off to the races as well. So that's true. People are resigning. That just tells you they're unhappy as hell. What else? Anybody? Come on. Think a little, please. And remember, we're in a very controlled, what's referred to sterile environment. No one's going to come out and hit you or punch you or yell at you because you said the wrong thing. If you can't say it or open your mouth here, that's part of the problem. That I don't need to know that in the real world, you're just going through the entire week not saying a damn thing to anybody. And that is the biggest problem. What else?
People are probably looking right now, because just what's happening to all the price increases.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
That's it.
Oh, no, thank you. I mean, it's amazing how much people are spending on gasoline. Now, understand that just 6 months ago, People would not give that thought. If I said, hey, what if I can help reduce your cost of gasoline? First question they're going to ask you, how the hell can you do that? Because I'm getting killed. What if I can help supplement your income so you can offset the expense of gasoline? What I'm saying, the gasoline talk alone, not to mention the cost of living, not to mention all the unfulfilled dreams just got even more expensive, meaning more impossible for some people, that they're almost guaranteed to die with those unfulfilled dreams just because of the cost of living. How can we just round all that stuff into one thing? Let's call it inflation. Inflation. People are in the market for now. As much as they would like to have more income, they're not stupid and think for a second they're going to quit their job to come try your little life insurance deal. They're not going to do that, and they shouldn't do that. I hate it when people go full time, because if they do that, you're going to feel their pain every single day. I don't like that. Personally, I love working with the cops and the cooks and the waiters and the teachers because they have the safety net of a paycheck. And at the end of the day, it might not be their dream job. They might leave it if they could, blah, 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 but it's still a steady paycheck. And I don't like to feel people's desperation. And that's when they're going to start shopping you around. That's going to start pulling for every penny. That's when they're going to start looking around for every increase or a higher contract. It's all this other crap that I personally don't like. Now, people can do whatever the hell they want to. Of course, they can quit if they want to, but I don't like it. I like when they stay part-time, or better yet, spare time. Because if I'm going to recruit you, I'll show you. What if I can help you generate an extra, let's just call it $2,000 a month. And we did that by you giving away only one, maybe 2 hours every other weekend. Would that work? Would that work? 2 hours every other Saturday. Would that work? Yes or no? Anybody here? Nobody here. Okay. Well, in most places where they have a pulse, they would say, how? Yes, of course. Well, duh. And so what I'm saying is that that's the power of and the simplicity behind recruiting. Now, if you're going to go out there and recruit life insurance agents, good luck. I'm telling you right now, if you're trying to recruit, and we're going to talk about that here in just 1 second, but good luck. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today was the updated Mastering Influence course. It's a 10-day course that you basically just go one day at a time. Very, very simple. We gave you guys the audio files, which I'm not going to give to anybody, so don't ask for them. It's a link that you can just hear them online. But if you're not going to read the workbook, don't even bother. After you finish the 10-day course, let me know, and I'll quiz you on it. And if you pass the quiz, I'll send you the audio files. If not, you don't need them. It's very, very simple, okay? And so I'm not going to go through the trouble of that, but it is a masterpiece as it relates to mastering influence, because whether you're looking to sell more, whether you're looking to recruit more, whether you're looking to anything more, you're going to have to start by understanding, learning, and then hopefully one day mastering influence. Influence is everything. Now, why do you think those that would like to have a team didn't recruit anybody this past week? Give me one reason. Just one. Anybody? Come on.
They didn't talk to anybody, Javier.
Oh, okay, they didn't talk to anybody. That's a very now. Here's what I would challenge you to do: learn to rephrase things like that. And you did a great job. You're right. That's the biggest reason. But what I'm getting at is that they were unable to influence themselves to go out there and talk to anybody. Does that make sense? Does that sound different a little bit? Hopefully, that's all it is. If I tell you that this past week, I walked 1 day a week instead of 5 days a week every morning, right? Why was that? On one side, we can go the excuses side. Some of them pretty good, by the way. But what's the real reason? The way I'm teaching you now, what's the real reason?
As you said, you can't convince yourself. You can't influence yourself.
No. Not about convincing. No, there's nothing to convince anybody about. You don't need to convince me that walking is good for my health. I know that, right? I know that. You know that. We all know. You know that recruiting can help your business, right? Nobody needs to convince you of that. But the point is that I did not do what?
Motivate them.
I did not influence myself enough to get off my butt and go walking. If somebody did not produce as many policies or applications, as I just say this week, what's the only reason that happened? Anybody?
Well, you didn't get out there because you lacked the influence over yourself realize how important it is to share.
You just simply didn't influence. And the reason I say this became a game changer for me when the challenge now really boiled down to, can I influence you guys enough to download the book? Hopefully some of you, and I know I did or did not. You know how? Because of the flow code. I'll show you the code right now, how many downloads we've got so far. And if it's a goose egg, it's a 0. I didn't influence you enough. Now, the same holds true for everything we do. If I didn't sell anything, well, number one, I either A, didn't influence myself to get off my butt and go talk to somebody, or B, if I talked to 10 people and nobody bought anything, no applications were submitted, well, then guess what? I didn't influence them enough to see the value to submit their application. If you understand, and it takes a while, it took me a very long time. If you understand the power of influence and how to measure your influence or lack of influence, you're going to change your life forever. And so for me, every week there's a challenge on the team, every single week, that when I look at the outcome, this week was no different. I knew it was a lost cause because the influence had been transferred somewhere else to somebody else. And I know how it ends. And I don't feel bad because at least it wasn't me that made that final decision, that took the axe to make the final decision. And it's amazing how it will help you. It will help you keep your sanity. And most importantly, it'll help you win. Now, I'll leave you with this right here. And if nothing else today, if you learn nothing else, it's going to be what you see here on the screen. These are the 2 skills that you must learn to master in order for you to live a fulfilled life. Fulfilled simply means, what's the simplest way? What's your definition of a fulfilled life? Anybody?
Having the freedom to do what you want, having the freedom
you just said
to
the
be where
key
you
thing
want.
right there. Whatever floats your boat. Does that make sense? Whatever floats your boat. Meaning, if I ask Joel, what's his definition of a fulfilled life? It might be different than mine, or I guarantee you it will be different. And if I ask Kathy, what's her definition? I guarantee it's going to be different than Joel and mine. And so the point that I'm getting at here is the 2 skills that you must master to live up. Now, why does this apply to you? Well, first of all, before you go out there and rescue the whole damn world, why don't you rescue yourself? Like I work on myself every day because I know I'm a much better husband, father, grandfather, leader, and everything else when I'm at my best. When I feel like crap, guess what? I'm the worst. And so therefore, you should always start with yourself. And here are the 2 skills, and I'm going to wrap it up here. And the number 1 is the science of achievement. Now, science is a key word in this. Notice that word. What does the word science allude to? Anybody? Science of achievement. What does it mean? What does that mean? And again, I want you to think, because otherwise you're not going to absorb it the right way. Science of achievement. What does that mean?
Is understanding the steps that you need to follow to achieve anything.
Okay,
It's
cool.
science.
Okay. It's like how to start fire, right? You're going to tell me, well, you get a little bit of tinder, you get a little friction going. And, okay, you're right. But what's another one? That's good. Thank you. What else? Science. What does that mean? Okay.
It's a systematic, like.
Okay, now we're going somewhere. So Berto started a fire by literally out in the woods, so he didn't have to die because of the cold. Now, if he figured out how to start a fire and how it works, can Kathy do it if he teaches her? And the answer is absolutely yes. Alberto did not corner the market on how to start a fire. Now, can Kathy turn around and teach me how to start a fire so me and my family don't freeze to death at night? Absolutely. And so what I'm saying is that the reason it's science, it's a very mechanical thing. Now, I don't have the numbers for you because as you get better, the numbers start getting better. But for every 10 people that I talk to, maybe 1 will join. And from every 10 that join, maybe 2 will stay and go the distance. They're not pretty numbers, just so you know. That's just the way it is. But as you're getting better and better at it, your numbers will improve. But there is a science to achievement here in FFS or in anything you do. You can parachute me into any city in the United States and give me a week, and I'll have you a team of loan officers, of realtors, of life insurance agents, police department, marketing. Doesn't matter because people are people, and the science works wherever you go. And so that's why I'm challenging all of you to maybe not buy into, you might want to learn the science of selling or influencing or recruiting or whatever the case might be, because it is a science. It can be trained and it can be transferred. The knowledge is interchangeable amongst people. The second thing that I want to show you, which is a must, and now we're talking about the art of fulfillment. And now, if you notice, the word science has been replaced by the word art, because that's one thing I could not teach you how to do. I cannot teach you how to fulfill yourself. I don't know what ultimately floats your boat. I will tell you this, that in all the things that I've done and all the things and all the people that I've worked with, one of the things that I try to teach people revolves around income, because money does play a big role. Income plays a big role. But what I've learned from experience has been that, and this is a game changer again for me when it came to fulfillment, because I've had a lot of achievement in business, but not a lot of fulfillment at times. And what changed everything around for me is that in any business, you don't have to make all the money in the world to live life on your terms. You just need to make enough. And it's amazing. And this is where I had it backwards. It's amazing that if you give me a teacher, if you give me a police officer, if you give me a doctor, it's amazing what an extra $2,000 to $3,000 consistently a month will do for their lives. They won't quit being teachers more than likely, or police officer more than likely, but man, will it transform them. And let me tell you, they're not going anywhere. That's the beauty. And even if they do, and they go to another company, I'm just feeling glad that at least I had a little bit to do with them being able to set themselves free. And so going back to the art of fulfillment, that's where you come in, and that's where you have to do a lot of self-analyzing to understand what truly fulfills you. I've found that as I get older, the things that fulfill me today are what most people would call just, silly things. The basic freedom that if I want to go do something, I'll go do it. Nothing floats my boat more than just hanging around with my grandkids. We go during the week. I mean, whether it be something as simple, Bob was making, he was making fun, but he was making a good point, and he's right. I was yesterday at the Topgolf at 10 a.m., or whatever the hell it was, 10, 11 a.m. with my wife, my granddaughter. She was having a blast. We're having a blast, and because they're having a blast, I'm having a big. He's like, man, you must really like that place. And the answer is, I really do like that. I really do like that place. We go to, just to go to Knott's, just to take the grandkids to Knott's, Disneyland, just to take it to Disneyland. I mean, that floats my boat more than anything else. And what I believe that we all need to do, and I might be wrong because I can't speak for anybody else, is that we have to water every single section of our field, if you would, of life. And so in my fields, I have the business side that we have to water it. We have my, personal field where it's just me trying to become a better person and influence myself better for positive things. I have another field that I must definitely take care of, which is my relationship with my wife. I have a relationship with my God. My mom, I'm blessed, is still alive. So I still want to, help her as much as I can. And so what I'm getting at is that I've noticed that the more of those areas you hit to your satisfaction, the happier you'll become. And they all, most of them at least, require the freedom to go when you want to or need to go, and having the resources, not all the money in the world, just enough. Now, part of the problem is that I personally know people making a ton of money and they're miserable. They're miserable. And so that in itself is not enough. And so that's why balance is the key there. The art of fulfillment is something you must define for yourself. And that's why I'm asking all of you here that, you are aware of what fulfills you. And then the second part and last component to that, because I'm going to go ahead and wind it down. The second, the final component to that revolves around knowing how much it'll cost to get you there. You have to know what your price. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and brag, and I'm not going to say, and I'm not lying, because there are people here that were there when we were doing in the previous company making over $1 million And that's when we traveled the least, when we did the least, when we enjoyed it the least. And before you know it, that market crashed one day and it was over. And we had memories, trophies, crap that, mean nothing. And so for me, I said, my God, give me another chance. Let me prove myself. And I do it differently this time. And lo and behold, we're not the top earners in the company. And to be honest with you, that's the last thing on earth I want to be, because I learned that all you need to do is you don't need to make all the money in the world. You just need to make enough. So what's your number? And if you don't have that number, you're spinning your wheels, because you're going to go right past it and you'll never even know it. How sad is that? So whether it be maybe you're a full-time whatever and an extra consistent, the word is consistent. Would it be $2,000 consistently every month? Would it be $5,000 consistently? Or maybe you are full-time, maybe an extra $10,000. We got people doing that within the team. Last week's top earner was $12,000 for the payday for Tuesday. That was just one day, not even for the month. For the day, $12,000 is not too bad. And everybody right behind that person was right almost there for the day. And so it can be done. But my challenge to you is, do you know what that number is? And if you don't know it, do your homework, work on it so that you can go ahead and know when you hit it, and don't be like me, flew right past it. And lo and behold, what I was still chasing was before me the whole time. And we've heard it a million times as it relates to our relationships, our health. We had it, but we didn't lose it. We just didn't know we had it, and we didn't recognize what we had. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and just show you one last thing, give you an opportunity to, in case you didn't download, I'm going to give you, let me just go back over here. Let me go ahead and go this, 1 second, please. Okay, so there we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up on the screen. So if you could do me a favor, get your phone out. If you want a copy, because I'm going to pick up on part 2 next week, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward through this whole thing. And this is, I'm telling you, you don't have to fast forward to it. Do it one day at a time. Now, there's nothing wrong with you not doing it, but at least don't blow smoke. I don't want to say use a bad word, but don't lie to yourself about how if only this, if only that. At least call it, it's me. I'm not ready for this yet. Maybe in a week, maybe in a year, maybe in 10 years. The key thing, though, is that none of us here are getting any younger. So I would say don't put it out there anymore. But can you give yourself 10 days and find out whether or not you can influence yourself to follow your dreams? And if not, at least just say, okay, it's me. It's not the world. It's not my gender. It's not my race. It's not my language. It's not where I was born. It's me. I'm on my own way, and I accept it. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least you don't go crazy blaming the damn world for your lack of success when it's really you. And so these are the things you'll learn, all this stuff, and we'll talk about it. The top strategies of top sellers, if you really want to do that, it's all within the book. Next week, I'm going to ask you about urbans, right here, urbans and lurbans and drabs. So be ready if you are serious about success here at FFS. So let me just fast forward, because I want to get you the flow code. And if you want it, do it. Please don't call me, don't text me, don't email me about anything I have to do with this, getting you anything I don't do for you, you can do for yourself. This is the flow code. Again, if you're watching the recording, do that. Don't message me. Just scan it with your phone and just download it onto your Dropbox app, and then you can open it up on your laptop, or figure it out. You're smart. Any questions from anybody about anything before we wrap it up? Questions, comments, concerns?
Can you please pull up the code again? Show it on the screen, please.
There. All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything from anybody at this time? This is your chance, please.
Javier, I just wanted to tell everybody I love this. Well, you and I are from the same generation, but there was a saying in our generation: don't talk about it, be about it. So I think that's probably ultimately. There's a lot of people that do a lot of talking, but all it numbers is the numbers. All matters is what you're producing.
Yes. And then lastly, thank you very much. Very well said. And the one thing that I would say we postponed, because I had some people ask me about the recruiting side. And what I've been asking them, people, now you can all recruit on your own, but I want people to be efficient. I want people to be good at it. And so the first question I ask them is, are you recruiting to the life agents license side of the house, or are you recruiting to what we call the system, which is what FFS was built for, friends, family, and so on? When they tell me the license part, the question I ask them is, first of all, do you have a funnel? If you don't have a funnel, you should have a funnel, meaning where everybody goes into the top of the funnel, and then it gets sorted out to the bottom, spits you out, people that would join you. And so the question that I have is, how are you going to recruit them? Let me give you guys a pop quiz, if you don't mind me, just real quick. So you're recruiting life insurance agents because people think that that's a shortcut. People that hold a life insurance license, I don't agree with that. I think that there are very good people like yourselves with life insurance licenses, but there's also a lot of people who haven't figured out how to make it work for them, and they just hop around from company to company to company. And in that case, you're not going to be the hunted. You're going to work as the hunter, and it's amazing how much you catch, only to find out that they are a problem child, and that could be an issue. Not everybody, of course. We've brought on board a lot of good people with license, but it's more difficult. I'll be very honest with you, it's more difficult. So who can give me a few bullet points that, let's just say you put out an ad. People do Craigslist. I think that's old fashioned, but it'll still work better than nothing. And you have, what does your ad say? What is your hook? What are your key points when you're trying to recruit somebody? Because two questions are always, why you? Why should I join you? And why should I stay with you? So who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Well, offering them opportunity to own their own business and have control.
Talk to me as a potential. I'm a recruit. We're gonna role play. We're not gonna give theory. Okay, so I'm calling you. Hey, I'm calling you because I saw your ad for life insurance agents.
Hey, yeah, Javier, thanks for calling. So just wanted to know if you're open to an opportunity that will allow you the kind of freedom that you've had as a real estate agent, as a mortgage broker.
No, we're talking life insurance licensees only right now. So,
yeah,
if you're not recruiting life agents, don't worry about it. I don't want to put anybody under the scope, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that work and some of the things that don't work. When we're talking, that's good because you really should be looking for those real estate agents, absolutely. But on the life insurance side, you got to get them, whether it's an ad on Facebook, an ad on Craigslist. What is your ad going to say that gets them to call you? What are the talking points when you're trying to recruit a licensed life insurance agent? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I would have to do that. So there's got to be somebody that knows that in me.
Perfect. Okay, cool.
With us, you're never alone. We'll be there all the time for you.
Okay, what else? Somebody else. And remember, in your mind, you got to think life insurance agent, and asking yourself, is that something that I get now? For some of the answer is no. And also, is that something that would get me to call? So anybody, that's okay. What else? Anybody else? Somebody different. Come on.
Javier, one of the things I used to use is I would ask them if they were interested in a higher commission split or if they were interested in making more money.
Okay, that's a good way to put it because I know where you're going, which is very, very good. Because one of the things that could shoot you down sometimes immediately is if I was to ask you, okay, well, let me ask you, what kind of contract will I start at, right? And that has the potential to put people in a bind. Like, well, what kind of contract level are you talking about? Then the question is like, damn, I haven't thought about that. So we're doing this so you can think about things that can happen. So when it happens to you, you can address it, right? And so one thing, what will you say? If I'm calling you, and I'm just messing with all of you, of course, but okay, well, let me ask you, what kind of a commission level will you start me at if I go with you? Anybody?
50%.
Okay. All right, I'm at 65 over here. So, okay, thank you. I mean, that could happen. You never know. But the point that I'm making, of course, is what? The point that I'm making is that what I would say, well, that really does depend on your verifiable experience. And verifiable, we're talking about what? 1099s? There are other ways to address it, is what I'm saying, to bring them back down to earth. Because if they're making $100,000 somewhere else, they're probably not looking for you. They're probably not making any money. And so there's ways to contradict that, which we'll talk about next week as we go ahead and review this as well. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I hope you find this.
Javier, that list that you send us that email. When are you going to start collecting money to purchase that list?
Oh, I'll call you that directly because I'll call you back. All right, guys. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful one.